What's good, guys? Welcome on another episode. How are you guys doing? I hope you all are doing fine. And if you're joining for the very first time, thank you so much for being here today. This creator on TikTok started a very interesting and fun conversation, and I believe a lot of people are learning as well, especially if they have been watching the stitches. I believe a lot of people are learning from what these people are sharing. So he made a video and told people to start stitching and start telling some of the lessons that they've learned as an adult in their hardest way possible. And I have been enjoying what these people have been sharing. I decided to share with you guys because even some people stitching to his video, I saw some comments of people requesting for part two, like, please talk about this more. I have put together these clips, so without wasting much time, let's get right into it.
What is a friendship lesson that you've had to learn the hard way as an adult? Mine is that you cannot expect a super passive friend to ever really have your back. Here's what I mean by that. You know those extremely passive friends that like almost are people pleasers to the extent where they have no opinion? It can be the littlest thing, like, where do you guys want to get dinner tonight? Oh, I don't care. We can go wherever you want to go. They never give strong input. They never really stand for anything. And here's the issue with that friend. If they are ever in a room where your name is being brought up in a negative way, they will never stand on their 2 feet and defend you. In fact, even worse, sometimes they might even join in on the conversation because they're just followers by nature. They're also not the best friends to go to when something is wrong because they're not going to give you good advice. They're just going to tell you what they think you want them to say. And I've had a lot of friends like this in my life that I've had to learn the hard way. You just can't end up really trusting them. I feel like they're fine to be friends with in social and casual settings, but if you are looking for a really great supportive friend that you can lean on, what is a friendship lesson that you've had to learn the hard way as an adult?
The friend that's always playing devil's advocate just might not be your friend. Because obviously it's important to see things outside of ourselves. But if there's someone around you that is just constantly looking for you to be wrong in everything and they search for it, that's not your friend. They don't actually like you. They probably want you to stop breathing.
What is a friendship lesson that you've had to learn the hard way as
People who intentionally distance themselves from you and then get mad at you for not reaching out to them are manipulators. Friends that always come back and tell you who's talking about you, who said what, they're talking about you too. Or they're at least really okay with whoever's talking about you without defending you. And a friend that never tells you about yourself isn't really your friend. Honestly, me personally, I don't like having yes men around me. I feel like all my friends should be able to tell me when I'm tripping because that's needed. If your friends can't do that, it feels like they're either scared of you or they really just don't give a fuck about you out here looking stupid.
not expect a
Be careful of the ones who always cry victim. No matter what happens, they are the victim in every story that someone did them wrong. And even if you know that this is what they do, remember, argument time will happen with you one day with them, and you will be the villain, and they will always be the victim. And also be careful of them too, where they always buy you stuff. Because, or if they give you stuff because it doesn't come from a genuine heart. And when you guys get into an argument, my mom always says, argument time will happen and they will really let out how they truly feel. And then once you started to tell them about themselves, then you are the villain. They don't want to hear anything else. You are the villain, they are the victim, and they'll go to other people saying that how wrong that person did them. So yeah, run away from those folks for real.
what is a friendship lesson that you've had to learn the hard way as an adult?
I will give you three. Number one, if the only times we see each other is because I made plans or I invited you out to something or we happen to run into each other in the streets and you've never actually made plans with me or tried to initiate us hanging out, I will sit back and wait. And if you don't reciprocate such a small thing, then it tells me that me having any sort of expectations of you is going to lead to me being disappointed. Number two, friends who only reach out to you when they need something or need help or some sort of emotional support, but never actually check in, ask how you're doing, ask me how my businesses are going. I'm going to step away because you don't care about me, you only care about yourself, and I don't want to be in that type of a friendship with anybody. And last but not least, the friends who are consistently inconsistent and unreliable, you gotta go. I have some really, really good friendships, and those friendships are my benchmark for any of my other relationships. So if anyone is not meeting at least what the good friendships are meeting, then you're either getting relegated to an acquaintance or someone I just don't speak to anymore.
What is a friendship lesson that you've had to learn the hard way as an adult?
If you deal with anxiety or low self esteem or the spirit of rejection, be mindful of how you think your friends think about you. And what I mean by that is that if you have the kind of brain that always assumes the worst case scenario about a situation, then you're probably going to apply that same thought process to how you think you're being perceived by other people. Because I'll see a lot of people online and even in real life talk about how they feel like all their friends secretly hate them and they feel like nobody's ever happy for them. And granted, like that can be true. Like we all have come across fake people and we always will. But if you don't love yourself, then of course you're going to assume that nobody else does either. And I also believe this kind of thinking really does contribute to people not reaching out as much because a lot of us are anxious. And I feel like a lot of us assume that, oh, if I reach out to this person, I'm going to be bothering them. And like, well, they don't really like me like that anyway. So I'm just not going to say anything or I'm going to wait for them to text me. When in reality, like they're sitting there waiting for you to text them. And it's just so crazy. Something that I live by now is that instead of always assuming the worst, which is human nature, why not assume the best? So next time you text somebody and you don't hear back from them for like 24 hours, don't always assume it's because that person just really doesn't like you, because you got to think, how many times have you done that to somebody and it wasn't actually personal? So don't always take it personally when it happens to you. And yes, people can do subtle things like that to passively communicate that they don't really like you, but until you have like more concrete evidence or you feel like your spirit is really telling you to get rid of someone, I always say just assume the best until further notice. And it's also not your job to be constantly dissecting and psychoanalyzing everybody's actions towards you. And especially if you deal with low self-esteem or anxiety, you most likely are going to lean towards the negative than the positive. So just be mindful of that everybody is not always out to get you.
What is a friendship lesson that you've had to learn the hard way as an adult?
You can't trust everybody to tell the truth about how they actually feel about you or a person or a situation. Every time I make friends, I always tell people that I want them to give me feedback about things that I've done wrong to them. Like, if we're going to be friends for a while, I want you to tell me the truth about if I said something or I did something that made you feel weird, and allow for me to be able to actually apologize to you. Basically, that comes from the perspective of you can't see everything about yourself. And a lot of times it requires people to be in front of you to see some of the things that you're not seeing about yourself. And if they're not willing to tell you what their problem is, it's not your responsibility to drag that information out of them. Because sometimes it might not even be you or something that you did to them. It just might be them.
What is a friendship lesson that you've had to learn the hard way as an adult?
For me, I need friendships that have substance. I can't do superficial friendships. I need us to actually relate to each other. I need us to actually be compatible with each other. I need that when we go out and when we hang out, we're actually conversing about each other and getting to know each other and talking about our feelings and holding each other accountable. We have a relationship. So I want to relate to you and I want you to relate to me. I want to be able to go deep with you or stay on the surface. There's too many friendships out there where it's like it's superficial and you can't really go deep. You're afraid to talk about certain things. You're afraid to touch on this topic. You're afraid to tell them when they're wrong. I can't do that. And I've had to let some of those friendships go. So yeah, I need depth. I need substance in my friendship.
What is a friendship lesson that you've had to learn the hard way as an adult? Mine is that you cannot expect
Two of the biggest lessons I've learned about friendships as an adult, and the very first one is very, very, very important to me. You don't know the depths of their respect for you, that they have for you, until y'all have a big disagreement. That's just my personal opinion. And I'm not saying that you should go into a friendship prying and trying to make people mad at you and this and that. I'm just saying, like, you get to like test people's character when they mad. Are we gonna disagree and you immediately play defensive and cuss me out and we fall out for real, or we disagree on something, we could talk it out, I see your perspective, you see mine, and we squash it. I feel like that lets you know how much a person respects you for real, because it's easy to sit up and joke and laugh with somebody and this and that, but you don't know their problem solving skills and their like, you don't know their like conflict resolution skills until y'all have a conflict. So that's number one. And then number two, you do not have to be this with every single friend you have. I used to think that every single friend I have, like if I have 100 friends, I need to be calling 100 friends every week and talking to them every week and talking to everybody every other day. And some people like to be friends that speak once a month. Some people like to be friends and they keep their friends at arm's length and they just like to go out to eat with their friends. They don't like to sit and tell their friends all their business. Some people are not looking for community in friends. Some people literally just want somebody to kick it with when they bored. Some people rely on their friends heavily and are looking for a very solid community of people that they can trust their emotions and everything with. But everybody is looking for different things within their friendships. Learn what you want and what you're looking for and how to prioritize your friends and go according to that. But if you go into every situation trying to be this fucking tight with every fucking body, first of all, you're going to upset yourself because you're going to realize you don't click with everybody on the same level. Some of my friends, we can go out to eat and we can go to brunch, but when we start talking about some shit that's real, I have to be like, okay, girl, you sound crazy. Some of my friends, and that's another thing, a lot of my friends are actually good acquaintances too. But yeah, he agrees. Talk that shit. Yeah, he said the same thing. Like, not all of your friends have to be your close fucking friends. Like, I think for real, I can count all of my close friends, like friends that are going to be in my wedding, on one hand. Everyone else, a really good friend, a really good acquaintance. You know, if you need to talk to me, you call me. If you want to go out to eat, we could do that. But you don't have to be absolute besties connected at the hip with everybody. It's okay to have friends that are just that good friends. Tell him. He's so wishy-washy.
What is a friendship lesson that you've had to learn the hard way as an adult?
Okay, I have a whole list. I had to write this shit down because I've learned a lot in my mid to late 20s about friendships and stuff. And one thing that I could really say that I know for sure, a lot of y'all don't like y'all friends. A lot of y'all don't like y'all friends, and y'all display it in a lot of different ways. Okay, so let's get started on the list. The first one is a friend to everybody is a friend to nobody. I've been screaming this to the top of my lungs for quite some time now, okay? Because I had a best friend or close friend or whatever, known her since I was little. She is the type of person that will tell you to your face, I'm friends with everybody. I'm friends with everybody. But I know for a fact that shit's not true, okay? I will sit in rooms with her by myself and she will tell me exactly how she feels about all of her friends. Now, why I thought that I was the exception to the rule because I've known her for 20 plus years, I don't fucking know. But that friend to everybody, they're not friends with nobody, okay? Those are the most dishonest, disloyal, untrustworthy, passive people, okay? Okay, and if they passive as hell, they are talking shit about you and people are talking shit about you to them, and they like that shit, okay? And they more than likely are joining in on that, okay? Okay, my next one is friends that pillow talk. Okay, so it's going to be really hard for y'all to know whether or not your friend is pillow talking about you to their significant other. So you're really going to have to pay attention to the little things. Pay attention to the little things. If you've never seen her boyfriend or fiance or some shit like that, and y'all been friends for years and she's been dating him for a while and you never met him, you never heard her talk on the phone with him, you've never seen her on FaceTime with him, you've never seen anything dealing with this man, but everybody else in the friend group has met him or seen him in passing or has had some type of interaction with said man, more than likely she's talking about you. Okay, she's pillow talking about you. So much so that that man don't like you. And she can't even bring you around. She can't. It's not that you just haven't seen him. No, she can't bring you around him. Because if she does, it's going to make her look like a phony ass bitch. And she can't risk that with her man. Okay, stay away from them. And another thing I think that you can see too, if you finally do meet the man and he's saying stuff to you, or he's speaking on something that you didn't tell him, yeah, she's pillow talking about you. Friends who throw backhanded comments, compliments to try to make you the butt of a joke. That's my next one. Those are the people that really don't like you the most. They really don't like you the most. And when if they only do it in group settings, yeah, she don't like you. She don't like you. Because if she's not doing that when it's just you or you and your family or you and your friends and she's on her best fucking behavior, yeah, she don't like you. She don't like you. She's always doing it when y'all around y'all mutual friends or her friends. Best believe she's talking about you. Now, my next one is pay attention to the friends who can for everybody else, but they can't with you. I really started paying attention to that when I graduated from college, and I told everybody that the graduation was this day, this time, and the location 7 months in advance, and I was receiving so many text messages and phone calls from people saying that they couldn't make it a couple days before. Only for me to see on social media they went on a whole tour attending everybody else's event. Yeah. My next one is pay attention to the friends that switch up on you when you get around them and their friends. They're definitely talking about you. They're definitely talking about you. I had a friend that did that shit 2 years ago. I haven't spoken to that bitch since. Because don't fucking play with me. If we talk on the phone every day, everything's cool, we be kikiing, we're planning stuff, and I come in town, and now you being weird towards me? Girl, block. Didn't even get her explanation because you knew what you was doing. You knew. My next one is people who don't show up to any of your achievements or celebratory moments, but they brag about it to everyone about everything that you're doing. I don't even know how to explain that, but I hope y'all are able to identify how weird that is. My next one is stay away from people who build you up when you're absent, but they try to tear you down when you're present. I noticed a couple years ago that I had a friend that would tell all her friends about all of my accolades, all of my achievements, everything that I do. But then when I get around her, she would say weird ass shit towards me. She would literally say things to try to tear me down. One time I caught her side-eyeing me. Like she had a look of disdain. And that's when I knew, I gotta get away from you. Oh, the next one. Stay away from people who wait until your birthday, your wedding, graduation, an achievement or something like that. You're finna open up a business or something. They wait until you do something like that. And then they get on social media. They post about it. But in their post, they're throwing shade at you. Yeah. Get rid of them. My next one would be people who go out of their way to be friends with your ops or enemies, ex-boyfriends, ex-husbands, ex-fiancés. Stay away from people who go out their way to become friends with people who have wronged you. Okay, I had a best friend, she would do shit like that too. She would go out of her way to do stuff like that. And when I would confront her about it, she would say this, the number one, I'm friends with everybody. I hate when you bring me in drama. Bitch, you is the drama. That's the fucking problem. You're the drama behind closed doors. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Behind closed doors, bitch, I see you. I fucking see you. Like, friends that try to go out their way to be friends with women that your man cheated on you with. Now, I don't really have an instance where that happened to me, but I watched this girl do that one time. And that was the day I knew this friendship's not gonna last. That lady is the mistress to your friend, boyfriend, or whatever the fuck they had going on. Why are you in her DMs? Why are you DMing her? And she tried to play it off like, I'm just trying to like get some information. No, that's not what them fucking messages say. You trying to be that bitch friend. You being weird. Cut them off. My next one is stay away from girls who are excited about being the mistress or a side chick. I don't even think that needs an explanation. Cut off friends when you realize they have a negative perception of you. Because whenever something bad happens to you or somebody wrongs you, they're going to go out of their way to understand why that individual did whatever they did to you. It doesn't matter how clear it is that that person was wrong for what they did to you. They're going to purposely not understand why you're upset at them, but they're going to understand clearly why that person did what they did to you. Stay away from people who have negative perceptions of you, because guess what? You're always going to be in the wrong when you clearly not even in the wrong. Stay away from people who do fake check-ins after they did something disrespectful, okay? Stay away from people like that. I had ended a friendship or whatever over 20 years, right? Because my best friend had told me that she did not give a fuck about. We was arguing about something that had nothing to do with her. So that was strike one. She opened her mouth and told me she did not give a fuck about me or our friendship because her mother died, right? And I stopped talking to her, and I never spoke to her again. I never spoke to her again. And months later, she started doing check-ins, saying like, "Hey, I'm just checking in on you." I never answered none of her phone calls, never really replied to none of her text messages because there was nothing to talk about. A couple months ago, you just told me you didn't give a fuck about me and our friendship. Why are you talking about your mom passing away? That's your, I don't know. I don't know. It was giving provocative victim, but whatever. She did a series of trying to check in on me. But what she didn't do is apologize for what she said. So stay away from people that do disrespectful stuff, say rude comments, are backhanded, all type of stuff. Stay away from them. Because they never gonna apologize for the shit that they doing. They just gonna fake check in on you to see if you still mad at them. An apology is never gonna happen. And stay away from the people who are provocative victims. Okay, that is an example of a provocative victim. You create the situation for things to happen, and when the person retaliates towards you because you was being disrespectful, all of a sudden you're the victim. You're not the victim, you're the problem. Stay away from people like that. And then my last remark would be, a lot of y'all need to understand that it is not normal to be rude, disrespectful towards your friends at all. It's never normal. It's never been normal. I don't know why we normalize that type of behavior, but if you think that it's okay for you to be rude and disrespectful towards your friend, you making them the butt of a joke all of the time, you pillow talking about them, you doing that, you're not being supportive, you're not showing up for them, you're not doing shit, but being rude and disrespectful, you look jealous. You look envious. Okay? That's how you look. So a lot of y'all need to grow up and realize the stuff that y'all be doing is unacceptable. Okay? Y'all need to really look within.
Which one of these lessons can you all relate with? Which one have you found yourself? Which one have you actually found yourself before? One of the ones that I can say is very common or that I'm most scared about are friends who will literally air your business once you fight. Like one of the states said, like you will always fight. There will always be a time of fight. Like it will always happen. And this is a way of even testing the relationship that you have with the other person. Because if you fight with somebody you call your friends and they hear out all your business, then I think that is just a clear way to know where you stand with them. Another one for me is friends who always play the devil's advocate. I think that one is even more scary. Like I feel like we should even talk about that more. The friends who plays the devil's advocate, I believe, are friends who are low key jealous of you, are friends who are low key not wishing you well. And I think we have seen it so many times. Even online, there are people who have bring their friendship gist, online to come and egg to people and let people hear, and you can just tell this is not right at all. As much as there are people who form friendship very easily, there are people who cannot even thrive in a friendship group, that they just need a one-on-one friend. Like anything that is more than me and you, a lot of people are scared about it. There was a conversation I saw online of a lady saying she struggles so much to be in any friendship that is more than two people, just her and the other person. If it becomes three, she believes there's a best friend in the group. So if you are a group of friends that are like five, they are best friend in the group of the best friend, and this does not always end up well. We've seen stories of friends who go on trips, especially these trip stories with friends who put you on the edge, literally. We've seen so many of these stories on TikTok. They do not always end well. Which one can you relate with everything that these people mentioned in the speech? Let's continue this conversation in the comment section. I will see you guys in the next one.